Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, wherever you are in this world. Good day, good afternoon, good night. So we are going live today with two of my business partners, and we're going to have a conversation about why a medical doctor would join this business. We thought it's an interesting topic that people would enjoy hearing the reasons and how things are going. So we asked Dr. Susie Jacob, who is a medical doctor in the UK, to join us and answer some questions. So I'm going to introduce myself really quickly, and then we go around and introduce ourselves, and then we go on with questions. So my name is Javone. I live in the US, California. I live with my husband and my daughter. And I work in the food industry. I do quality control, food safety, compliance. I've done that for over 20 years. And I also do this business on the side. And I'm very glad that I made this decision and look forward to continue for many years. So, Elham, do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, of course. My name is Elham. I'm living in the United States, and I'm a pet shop grooming and supply business owner. And so I started this business as a side job because it's a lot easier, and handling this business by myself it was just worth it, because the other one you need a lot of people. It's complicated, but this one is worth it. And I mean, it's amazing working with educated people, and I manage my time by myself. I'm not in need with anyone else, and here we are.
Great. And Dr. Susie?
Hi, I'm Susie, and I am a general practitioner. I think you call them primary care physicians there in the US.
Yeah.
So I am a GP here in the UK. I've been a doctor for nearly 20 years now, and I live here with my husband, who is a chef, and my daughter, who's a teenager. Um, yeah, and this is not my first rodeo. I have done other businesses, but I can, cross my heart and say this is a fantastic business model, especially for very busy professionals. When I started the business, I was doing full time, full on, like 10 sessions. That's like over 44 hours a week. Most GPs in the UK don't do that many, maybe 32 hours is the average, or even less, really. So I was doing a lot more than the average GP actually when I started the business. And now I've been able to cut down, which is great. My husband's also just doing part time, really. So it's been all amazing. And I've done property before, but this is much, much more more flexible than property, I would say, and more lucrative for me, at least. Although I guess there will be people who would disagree, but yeah.
Thank you. Great. So you told us about yourself a little bit. Can you tell us about why you actually joined this business? What triggered it? And what was the epiphany that you had that made you think, oh, maybe I should give this a try?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I have, it all started with the pandemic, not this particular business as such. At that time, it was the time when my husband was shifting jobs, really. So he was moving from one to the other, and that week he was supposed to join his new job. We went into lockdown, and what that meant was he was unemployed, and I was the sole breadwinner. And in the UK, I think there were similar schemes. In the US also, we had what we call the furlough scheme. So if you were not allowed to go into work, you get about 80%. Well, technically, my husband couldn't get, because he was technically not in a job.
Oh,
So it was one person salary, and yeah, it was tough. And for me, at that point in time, I was actually still seeing patients face to face, and it was a scary business, COVID, because people were dying left, right, and center, and colleagues were getting ill. People I know died. Patients died. There was a day when I did 5 death certifications, 3 coroners calls. It was not good. It was not good. It was not good for me mentally, as you can imagine. It was not good for me mentally, and also I was really worried for the safety of my family, because there was a point when people from the Asian subcontinent were dying a lot more than other ethnic groups. So obviously, my husband being Indian, we are Indian origin, so that frightened me. And if anything had happened, I don't think I'd ever forgive myself. But nothing happened. We were all well. We didn't catch COVID, which is a miracle. And but that's what triggered the whole thing, because one of the things I do in the community is bridge primary care to the hospital with people with long COVID, which is called long haul in the US.
Yeah.
So I still have patients in my books, 3.5 years down the line with long COVID. They've lost their jobs, they've lost their identity, and lost hope, really. So, and that could have happened to anyone. So it made me think, what's my backup plan in case I'm not able to work? If something had happened during COVID and my husband didn't have a job and I couldn't work, there's only so much of sick pay. I have very minimal, really, but even if you have sick pay, there's only a limit to the sick pay, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that you'd just have to take voluntary retirement, and our pensions are pants, really, right? If you think in the long run, it's not going to even cover the inflation and things like that. You'll be barely able to get by. So that's when I started looking at things, of what I could do on the side, really. Because don't get me wrong, I love being a doctor. I still work as a doctor. So I still love doing that. But if something like this was to happen, I wanted to have to say, you know what, I'm not in a mental state of mind, or I just need to take some time out. But during the pandemic, I couldn't say that, because then there's no money coming into the bank if I don't go into work. I didn't have an option, and I didn't like the feeling of not having an option. So I started looking at businesses, did a few things like crypto, property, but it required a lot of my time. If you're trading crypto, you need to be there for certain times, and for me, I work, so sometimes that's not convenient. Or if I did property, the realtors, or we call them estate agents here, work from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. I work during those hours, so it wasn't realistic. So I didn't have the flexibility in those businesses. And then when I saw this business model and the flexibility for a person like me and anyone like doctors, in my team, other than one person, we're all doctors. Only one person in my team is not a doctor. So others, all of us are doctors. So, and for us, some of my team members do night shifts, day shifts and things like that. I do mainly evenings or, morning shifts. So for me, it's probably not that bad. So you need a business where it's flexible. And for a doctor, this is perfect. Any shift worker, not just a doctor, maybe nurse, healthcare professional, assistants, any of those kind of radiographers, any of those healthcare professionals, shift workers, this is like perfect, because you can, if you're doing nights, come back in the morning, have a bit of rest, then do a bit of work. Or people like myself, either before going into work or after coming back, we look into the business. And and it's perfect. And if you have kids, young kids, put your kids to sleep and then start doing the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not like, and you decide how much time you want to put into the business. I put in about an hour a day. And when I put in an hour, I don't mean I sit for an hour. I don't do that. I might do about 10 minutes or 15 minutes in the morning. Maybe sometime during my lunch, I take videos for my page. So I do that sometimes during my lunch break. I come back and then answer queries and things like that. It's really, really flexible. And I think that's why this business has really helped me. And I've been able to see the success that I have seen because of the flexibility.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. We do have a lot of doctors in this community and
Yes, we do.
attorneys, a lot of people with, high paying jobs, and they still do this on the side. So that's
Yeah,
good to
yeah,
know.
absolutely. Because even, yes, we are all having high paying jobs. But the thing is, these jobs require us to trade our time for money. So if I don't go into work, I don't get paid. Like
Yeah.
what happened in the pandemic? We were comfortable. My family was comfortable with my earnings. And, because of the pandemic, it's not like we went on holidays or we even couldn't go
Yeah.
to the cinemas, So we didn't have a lot of expenses, just our mortgage and our food and other stuff like that. So it was fine. But imagine if I wasn't well. That was what triggered me more than anything. And because
Yeah,
for me, if I don't go into work, I don't get paid.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Full
Same
stop.
with me.
So
Same. I mean,
that's it, isn't it?
I'm 24 hours, 7 days,
Oh wow.
all the months. I mean, busy with my business, because when you are a business owner, I mean, the physical one, not online one, the off one, you are involved 100%. I'm so lucky in somehow that my husband lost his job. So it was a ring for me that, hey, girl, if it happens something, you should have a backup. And I just started this business as a side job, and now he's involved more than me in the offline business. And I'm so lucky as a mom to be able to stay at home and just give a ride my daughter anytime that she needs. I mean, prepare just a fresh food and warm food for her. I'm now a mom. I feel now mom. Now myself as a mom. It's not always earning money.
Oh no.
Sometimes you cannot. I mean,
Absolutely.
the no value for time that you're putting for
True.
anything
Yeah.
that you're doing. You're out of home as a mom, out of home all the time, and after you cannot have that band with, with your kid. But now I feel really good. I mean, I feel okay.
I can totally relate with you. For me, since
Yeah,
I've started the business, I've not done a single extra shift, not a
yeah.
single. Because for me, we used to go on a holiday once or twice a year. And when we to prepare for the holiday, I used to do extra shifts. So come back and do extra shifts to
Wow.
pay for the holiday. Not done that.
I know.
I've been in the business now, this particular one for 18 months. Not, I've actually done a bit of renovation work in the house. I've done,
Yes.
I've this year, I think 4 or 5 holidays already. I'm going for
Yeah.
my next one next week. So, which never happened. And that means, and for me, I'm not here to brag about it. For me, that's how I spend time with my family.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
recuperate, because this whole week I'm working full on, because it's coming up to Christmas. It's one of our busiest times, so I'm working full on, and I deserve a break, really. Yeah, I think anyone does. So I'm having and I don't have to worry about, oh, I'm going on holiday and I have to pay for all that things.
Exactly.
It's all paid for, and I don't have to worry about doing an extra shift to just pay for the holiday. And I don't do any extra shifts. I haven't worked a weekend for a long time now.
Was it easy for you trusting to this business for starting? I mean, it was not. I mean, were you skeptical, or it was easy? I mean, how you trust to this business?
For me, because I did a couple of business kind of things before this business, I saw the value of the business immediately. I had no hesitations whatsoever when I saw, even for instance, like the investment, for instance. I spend a lot more on property. So I think when you have done something else and when you come to our business, you're like, oh my God, you only spend that much and you can earn like,
Unlimited.
yeah, I had 5 figures last, I mean, 5 figure months. I had a 5 figure month last month. So, you know, you know, like I don't earn that much as a general practitioner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So So, and for what we put in, I think the problem happens when you've not got any kind of business background and you come as an employee,
Yeah.
in an employee mindset. When I joined my first business, it was out of desperation. And now when I think back, because in my other property business, when I was doing deals and all, in the end I started doing advertising in Facebook, which I didn't know. So I got a mentor to teach me, and I spent £3,500 for the Facebook training. And we
Did you get it free with this business?
platforms for 149.
I know.
I know. I was like, oh my goodness, why did I spend £3,500 on just learning Facebook? So I think for me, I saw that value.
Yeah.
I saw that value straight away. So for me,
Yeah.
it was like it was a bargain. But I appreciate, like, people might not see it that way because they've never done a business before.
Exactly.
Yeah. But at the same time, my my mentor, I was following her for a couple of months before I jumped in anyway. So I saw her results, which was amazing, 5-6 figures and all, and it was amazing. And within 18 20 months, and I was like, wow. I don't, for me as a doctor, and like most doctors, we work really hard.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't the point of working hard, because we already work hard, and I was happy to put in the effort. That was not the problem. For me, it was like, I spent like 12 to 15 years studying medicine, and training. Then I had to retrain. I used to be a hospital doctor, so I retrained to become a general practitioner. So there's many more years for me, and you don't see that kind of money after studying all those years. And I was like, oh wow, I went to the wrong job.
I know. I'm thinking always about that. I mean, I had to have a huge loan for starting the physical business, and I'm telling every day why I did that. If I knew this business earlier,
absolutely. My husband and me, we were thinking of starting a takeaway business, just a takeaway, not even having seats or something, just a just come, take your takeaway and go away. And the startup cost was, and this was 7 years ago, just to get the license and the place, not even the inventory, not the gas, not the electric, not the staff, nothing, was £21,000 with no equipment, nothing. And people
not to mention the amount of time and how it ties you in one place, like physically, you have to be
our
there.
business is not even a third of that, and I'm like, so people, because they think that way, because they've never done a business, they've never looked into starting a business, the average times and the return of investment, I've got more than what I've put into this business already within 18 months. And the return of investment in an average business, people don't see a dime of return of investment in a traditional business up to even 7 years, 5 to 7 years. They don't see any return of investment. And this business, you're able to, some people are getting return of investment all within 3-6 months. It varies from person to person. Obviously, I've put in the hard work and all. I'm not saying everyone will get the same time as I do, but it is possible if you put in the work.
True.
So you think that this business changed your life?
Of course it has. As I've mentioned, like I've never imagined that I could earn as much as I'm earning. As I've mentioned, I've earned double of what I earn as a general practitioner. So I never thought I could do that. And I feel like I've been lied to when I was growing up. I felt like that. I'm like, people in the society has been lying to us. And again, I don't want people coming and putting bad comments under my interview here. I love being a GP. That's why I'm still doing it, because the satisfaction of serving your community, hurting people is completely different. And that's why I do my job. But now I do my job because I want to serve and not for the money.
Yeah.
And that is a very, very big difference.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
true.
Exactly.
That is a very big difference, and
It
that's
is.
what I am enjoying. Before, and then, before and all, I used to do it because I need the money.
You had to, yeah.
I need the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that internet changed everything. It was not wrong what everybody believes 20, 30 years before that, okay, you become a doctor, you want to have a beautiful life, because that time was like that. Now we are in a new century. Everything is changing. I mean, the people dating online, the people shopping online, the people
I met
learning
my
online.
husband online.
Oh, it's same for me. I mean, so
Well, this is
everything is
ours is
just
like
Yeah.
different
22
now.
years ago, but yeah, that was when people, it was unheard of, 22,
Yeah,
23 years ago.
so true. I mean, everything is so different now.
Yeah, so I met my husband online actually. Yeah. So yeah, and the other scary thing is AI.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of things are going to change. People in the health profession think that their jobs are safe. I work
Mm-mm.
for a health tech company. About 5 years ago, I was doing research, and one was the thing to look at how the AI, this was even 5 years ago, was doing some kind of consultations, and I was doing
Yeah.
consultation. I was 94% accurate, the AI was 98% accurate.
Wow.
Wow.
That sounds scary.
That sounds scary. So I knew that time itself, if it's this good, that means we will be replaced at some point. And I don't know, like, I see the logic, because now the problem is getting people to do those night shift, to do, so I think there is a place for that. But the thing is, they're going to be a lot cheaper. You don't need to give them a salary
Yeah,
and things like
unfortunately.
that, isn't it? So it
Yeah.
is a very scary thought. Yeah, I always tell people, like, you need a backup plan.
And we need to shift. I think that it's really good that you realize that the changing is coming, so you prepare yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
we are not have to wait for another pandemic. We are ready. I think
Exactly.
that now our mindset is changed. So I cannot say that I don't feel secure, but now I'm more alarmed that, hey, something can happen anytime, that you lose your job. So you need to have always another plan. I mean, a plan B, a
Yeah.
backup, right?
Mm, absolutely. And yeah, and that's why we're doing all these interviews, isn't it? I do once a week.
Yes.
Either I interview people, or like yourselves, people interview me and all. And this is basically trying to educate the general population, because they are still in an employee. The general population is still in an employee mindset, because they think it's safe. But I think the most risky thing is just having a job. Please do have a job. There is a worth and value for having a job,
Yeah.
because when you and I do believe people need to, at least at some point, have had a job, because you learn to those communication skills, those people skills. You learn, like, now I'm in management. I've learned management skills, managing a team and things like that through work. And they keep on sending you for that training, leadership training, this leader, and it's all useful.
Yeah.
And that's because, and there is a place. But if you think having a job is safe, because you get a pay, you get a paid in the end of the month, they can actually terminate you at any time. I've seen it in my, unfortunately, I've seen it in my health tech company several times, several jobs gone,
Yeah.
just like that. And then
Same.
so nothing is permanent. I don't know, even general practice as we see it here in the UK is going to be the same in 5 years' time. And my question to the public and to the doctors out there is, are you prepared?
Oh, so true.
Are you prepared for that change?
So
Yeah,
true.
definitely. And it's always good to have a second plan. Always. You don't want to get caught off guard and be, now what? That's something that I try to reiterate to people, that don't wait till it becomes an urgent thing to have a second
Yeah.
source of income, to have a backup plan. you need to plan ahead, because when it becomes urgent, then you could jump on any opportunity that could not be the right opportunity, or it may not even be true. It may be a scam. There's so many of them out there.
Yeah.
So that's very important point
Because,
that you brought up.
it's good to be a bit desperate, because that's when you take action. Like I started taking action, and I've done several things before I found. And sometimes, like me, I've done a few things which was partially successful, or not successful, before I found the thing that's actually successful. And probably you need to do that also, isn't it? Sometimes, and we're not saying this is for everyone. It may not for you, but at least the least thing you can do is actually
Give
take
a
a look.
chance. Yeah.
Give yourself a chance. Do your research. Is this something you'd like to do? And if this isn't, find something.
Yeah.
Like
So
there are other things. We are not saying this is the only thing. There's trading. There's so many. Now trading is all using AI and stuff like that. When I was doing a little bit, it wasn't. So now all that has changed. And property also, a lot of ways to do property. I'm not saying it's very lucrative also. So do you need to do something? But for me, as a busy professional, when I couldn't afford cutting down my sessions to do something on the sides, this was perfect for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time for me, because now I'm able to manage that one and be a mom again and have just this as a side job. I mean, it's just actually this one, it doesn't look like even working for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's really having a lot of fun, and we are learning every day. And I find amazing friends. Look at that, from everywhere. You don't feel that you are isolated, you are just now everywhere. Yeah. That's something that I really like it. I mean, I'm so happy for being
and
a
our
part of this
community. I
business.
can vouch for that. We've got the biggest growing community in the online space at the moment, and every week I meet beautiful people who I've never met in person. And that's the beauty. You get to see a lot of people, network with them. And even like 10 years ago, if we were to tell people you don't need to go to an office to actually network, or go to a conference center to do all these things, you can do all that online, people would have laughed. And now, and that's another thing, this business, I consider myself as an introverted, ambiverted person. My husband and my daughter are the extroverts. They would just go out and talk to a stranger. You will never see me do that.
I was not either, but I am today. I mean,
yeah. But the thing is, this business has changed me. It's given me the confidence to do that. And I don't know, when I do things on Zoom, I don't know whether I'll be still confident going on speaking maybe 2,000 people on stage and things like that. I don't know. But when I do it on Zoom, it feels a bit different, and I feel a bit more confident doing it. But I don't know whether I'd do it in person on the stage. I don't know.
You'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I will.
Little by
never
little.
Say never, isn't it? Never say never. Yeah.
So I think that, we had almost all the questions. She present amazing.
Yeah,
just so happy. Look at that beautiful smile. So
yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for all the work you did during COVID. I always say that to all the healthcare professionals.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I was fortunate to be able to work from home, but I know many people who didn't have that opportunity. So I remember it was a scary time. So, and thanks for the time today and for the conversation. I think it was very informative, and hopefully it helped some of our audiences with some of the questions that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. So just, get in touch with us wherever you see this being posted. And I'm sure any of us will be more than happy to lead you with the next steps, and give yourself a chance. The least thing during this festive season, I think, why don't you just take that leap of faith and give yourself that chance, take action, because, if you're wishing for change, nothing's going to change. You have to take the action
Yes.
to make that change happen. And that's what I did. I wasn't waiting. I wasn't going to wait a single moment. And it was it was a calculated risk. I have to say, it was still a risk, but it was a calculated risk. And I was desperate to see that change in my life and my family's life and my community's life. It's all changed for the better.
Yes.
So, if you just hearing about this business, like Susie said, give it a chance. At least get some information to begin with, and then you can decide if it's for you or not. You can send us your name and email, or you can alternatively go to our websites and sign up, and then you will receive a 90-minute introductory webinar, which is not costing anything, basically, but it gives good information. If you think it's for you, then you can take the next step, pay the $149, which gives you access to speaking with a coach, access to the compensation plan, as well as adding you to a private group where you can see how successful people can be in this community. So at least you make an informed decision before you say, this is not for me.
Yeah, and it's a money back guarantee. So
Yeah.
There's no
thanks
risk.
for mentioning that.
Yeah.
You have 30 days to decide, and if it's not for you, you can get that $149 back.
Hope to see everyone.
Yeah. Hope to see you guys.
We are
on
so
the
happy
other side.
here for helping everybody. I mean, that's the main goal, right? I'm here.
Yeah.
Someone help me. I will be more than happy helping someone else. That I mean, just give all of us a good feeling. We are helping each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With that, have a good rest of the day. Good night. Thanks for joining again, and talk later.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Susie.
Bye-bye.
Thank Javana. Bye.
Thank you.